Advertising your business with GCN is simple, effective, and more affordable than you might think. Visit advertise.gcnlive.com for more info. Take your business to the next level.
Broadcasting and streaming live all across America. This is Home Talk USA with Michael King, where we will discuss topics pertaining to your home with industry-leading experts. Michael King is a licensed general contractor with more than 30 years of experience in home improvements and the author of Contracting with the King. Join us this hour for our segment Invent America with your co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton. Discover what's next in the home improvement industry and explore new products and innovations. Or if you have that next great big idea, learn what it takes to bring your invention to the world as Michael King and Rita Crompton talk to America's inventors and innovators. Remember, the America of tomorrow is being invented today. We invite you to visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com, one of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, we proudly present Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor, Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Welcome, America. That's right. I'm the originator. Not the duplicator. Please don't accept no substitutions. Man, I was green before green was even cool. Hello, everyone. This is a special edition of Home Talk USA. We're going to be talking to Miss Rita Crompton. She is the Inventor Lady. This is the special segment of our show called Invent America. That's right. We're trying to reinvent America. It's all about technology. It's all about entrepreneurship. It's all about developers and dreamers and all the capitalistic ideas that make this company great. So I thought, you know what? Let's do a show on this. Let's feature America. We don't counterfeit nothing. We don't copy things. We don't steal things. What we do is what, America? Invent. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So welcome all of you to a special edition of Home Talk USA right here on the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com. And now I'd like to welcome my little sidekick on the Invent America show, which you can catch each week, every week on the second hour of Home Talk USA. She's on the line right now, and my co-host, hey, Rita, how you doing? You sound all pumped up this week, right?
It has been a great week.
Well, I tell you, everybody asks me, King, do you watch the news? Do you see what's happening with this woke political thing and the liberals fighting the Republicans and the Republicans, the conservatives, the Magna Group, the Antifa? I mean, this country is like, and at the end of the day, China, now this is not a political show, but I'm just facing facts. China is laughing their little butts off because they're stealing everything and we allow them. But you know one thing they can't steal? Our mind.
Ideas. That's right.
That's right. Our ideas. They can't steal that. They got to wait till actually we produce it, and then all these stupid manufacturers are giving away the technology to China. But hey, we're gonna stop that because enough's enough. Hey, we live in the greatest country on earth, and we got to go after and let people know why inventors are so important. So, Rita, why inventors are so important?
Well, because they made America. Invent America is our show because America invents. And honestly, if they all got here by a boat at one time or another, and if they couldn't fix the problems when the boat was leaking, they didn't make it. Same thing with the wagon train. When they were going across the country, if you couldn't fix the problem. So my ancestors, they came over in the 1700s. Yours came over even earlier than that. If they could not fix a problem, they didn't live to the next day. And so it's in our genes, it's in our blood that we fix our problems. And so that's why I always say most of our inventors that have really good ideas in the marketplace, they are the ones that solved a problem out in the field, and they go, oh, cool idea, let's go to market. So for a lot of our inventors, their expertise is the wow moment, and that's our topic for next week, so tune in. But they need different service providers because their expertise might be fixing a wagon, but it's not necessarily intellectual property, marketing, prototyping, that kind of thing. So our topic today is the different service providers that you really need, and what can you do yourself?
Well, I wish our audience can see what we see when we go to these trade shows and we see 3,200 different product manufacturers and entrepreneurs and see the technologies of the future. And you know what? I talked to somebody the other day. Well, everything that's out there has already been invented. Well, I tell you what. Watch Shark Tank. I tell you what, there's a lot of stuff I see there that hadn't been invented yet. But there's that one great idea. Now, I'm not giving a plug for Shark Tank, but what I'm saying is the technology that you see, all the technology has not been invented.
That's right. That's right. And, when we were at the show this last year, one of our inventors had his product stolen off the display table from the Habitat area where they were supposed to be displaying, those new products and paid extra to be there. And he was so frustrated and upset, and I don't blame him. The funny thing was is that he was the first one to get a licensing offer, and he goes, "Okay, I'm good now." So I told you somebody wanted it.
Yeah, somebody wanted it. They took it.
And but there's little things that I tell people is sometimes the better widget is what makes it. When you invent something brand new, it's harder to get to market because now you have to pay a lot of money to teach the consumer that you solved a problem they didn't know they had. When you've got a better flashlight, everybody understands a light flashlight is a light coming out of the end of the stick. But when you invented the one that wrapped around the pole, that's cool. So that's a lot of things we look at is, potential market disruptor. It might be a slight change, but it's, technology is caught up, so you can make it now at a price the consumer goes, oh, I want that. Yeah. And all of those things play into when I look at a product for an inventor and say, okay, let's work with this. We're always looking at price points. And, when a licensee asks me 4 very basic questions, we can do that initial interview in 30 seconds because they want to know. And where I see inventors make some of the big mistakes is that they hire either the wrong service provider or they hire one too soon.
Well, tell us a little bit about our show, what we have up this hour.
Well, we're going to be talking to a couple of inventors who've got products just getting ready to go into the marketplace. So they've hired a lot of different service providers. And, one of the things I look at is, I hired somebody to do a business plan. No, don't waste the money. Every dollar that you have, we used to say, don't spend a dime until it's time, and then you got to step up to the plate. But when you're looking at those early dollars, it's like, oh, I've got a budget of this much. Well, you're going to need that budget, all right, to stretch a long way. And so when I see them make some serious money mistakes early on, that means they've got less money to work with. And a lot of times that's when the deal tanks, is because they just run out of funding and the spouse won't let them mortgage the house.
Well, they made the mistakes, and you're right. They made, hey, look, Rita, Invent America, we're going to give you the blueprint. We're going to, it's like go and see the wizard, traveling down the yellow brick road, step by step. We're going to have some obstacles on the way and, this and that. But at the end of the day, we're going to give you the floor plan out there that at the end of the day, you're going to get up to that castle, you're going to knock on that door, and you're going to see the wizard behind the curtain. And he's going to have all your dreams because you did all the foundational work that you need. And all you have to do is listen to the Invent America show each week and every week. Right. But, hey, this is a special edition of Home Talk USA. We want to invite everybody just to stay with us and talk to some of the technologies of the future. And look, please remember, we don't charge our guests to be on this show. This is not a pay-to-play network or a broken network. You give the king a check and we'll get you on the air. It doesn't work that way. We go out and find you. That's what we do here each week and every week. So, hey, stay tuned. I'll be right back. Always support your local dependent hardware stores and garden centers, and let's pledge to hire a vet today. I'm the Cajun man from the Bayou Land, the originator, not the duplicator. You know it. Hey, I was green before green was even cool. I'll be right back. Yay!
Welcome back to Home Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com, one of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Yahee! Welcome back to a special edition of Home Talk USA, right here on the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com, along with my sidekick and co-host, the Inventor Lady herself, Rita Crompton. Rita, I tell you, we got a great show for our guests and a whole bunch of great inventors. Why don't we introduce our first guest?
Excellent. Our first guest is Lexa Gandolfo. She is the inventor of Cargo Caddie. And it's the lessons that she learned during the development of Cargo Caddie that has made her passionate for inventing and helping other inventors. She's also the executive director of the New England Invents Group, which is one of the largest independent organizations that is dedicated to supporting and helping independent inventors. And I don't know if people always understand independent inventor means you're not working for somebody else when you're doing this. You're standing on your feet, so you're dealing with all of the issues. Lexa, thank you so much for being on with us today.
Hi, thanks, Rita and Mike, for having me.
Tell us a little bit about Cargo Caddie so that we, give kind of that picture in everyone's head of what you were working with.
Sure. Cargo Caddie is a trunk organizer for SUVs and CUVs. It's currently patent pending. In SUV and CUV trunks, items are typically piled on top of each other. They're disorganized and messy because of the vast height of these trunks. Cargo Caddie solves this problem by providing shelf space above the trunk floor for all the stuff you typically store in your SUV, CUV trunk. So groceries, sports equipment, camping, hiking gear, tailgating, all those sorts of things.
I've seen the product. It's amazing. It's wonderful. It's like, oh, my God, I can't believe this wasn't done a long time ago. So during this process of, wow, I've got an idea to where you are now, you've had to use a variety of service providers. So tell us, what are some of the different service providers that you felt were important to you?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Well, I've tried to be very cautious and clear-minded about the whole process. Instead of jumping right in, I did a lot of research, I did a lot of homework, and I talked to a lot of people, including people like you, Rita, and other people from the independent inventor organization kind of environment. So these are people from organizations, nonprofit organizations that support independent inventors, the United Inventors Association, anywhere where I could get free and accurate information, I would do it. And I did that before I kind of jumped into all this and spent money. But my first step in terms of a service provider was to hire someone to execute a patent search. So I wanted to see if this was indeed a patentable idea. So I did that. Once I found out it was a patentable idea, then I engaged an a patent attorney to protect my intellectual property with a provisional patent. Then I worked with an engineer to do CAD design and drawings, and then a prototyper to then make those designs, those CAD designs, an actual working, functioning prototype. And then I even engaged a videographer to do a product demo of Cargo Caddie so that I could shop it around to different prospective licensees who might be interested in licensing the product. So I've worked with a number of different service providers in my plus years.
We always look at when someone tells me it's like, well, I did it all myself. It's like, that's not really what I want to hear. And as a licensing agent, it's better for, we don't charge up front for anything, that we've got to be very selective. So we want to make sure that things were done right. And so you did those things in the right order, where you did a search and then you had a search done. And that's what he's like, look around as much as you can find something. And if not, then you want another set of eyes. You want an independent opinion on it. Then you hire the attorney, because doing your own patents like doing your own brain surgery. By the time you realize you made a mistake, it's too late to fix it. So understanding, I think, the inventor understanding their own limitations, and then being frugal about how they go forward and pick service providers is really important.
Well, I think that's right. And it is tempting to do things on your own because it's less expensive that way, but it's really expensive, to make a mistake. So undoing things you've done yourself not the right way is much more expensive than just paying an expert up front to do it the right way the first time. So that's what I've endeavored to do with Cargo Caddie. And sure, I've made some mistakes here and there, and I could outline those. Maybe that's for another show. But I have tried I've tried to work with service providers that were totally vetted and came to me through personal and professional recommendations. People who were vouched for, I would work with them, and then I tried to, again, go through this sort of step-by-step process, doing it the right way.
Yeah, and I think that's so wise, because when I hear an inventor say, well, they were, I just picked them off the internet. It's like, oh my God. Or they're overseas, so they were cheaper. And so I hear those classic mistakes coming out from an inventor, and it's like, I know that, that's going to come back and bite everybody in the end. And for a lot of inventors, that's why they don't make it to the marketplace. So
I think that's right.
What's next for you?
Well, right now, the sample I had, or the prototype I had developed, I've gone through a few iterations of the product. The first one was a metal or aluminum product, and then for cost and shipping limitation reasons, I developed a plastic version of the same product that's lightweight, easy to ship, easy to pack. And that prototype, the plastic prototype, is in the hands of a prospective licensee right now who I met with a couple weeks back. So they're evaluating licensing the product. So my next step, will be to engage an attorney to negotiate or help me negotiate the licensing agreement that's next. So that's what I'll be working with. I'll definitely have an expert service provider helping me with that. That's obviously a critical thing.
All right, Lexa. Hey, here's the music. We gotta go pay some bills here. Hey, great job. Can you give us that website? How can we learn more about the Cargo Caddie?
Absolutely. It's GET Cargo CARGO Caddie CADDIE.com. GetCargoCaddie.com.
Say it one more time.
Sure. GetCargoCaddie CADDIE.com.
And just spell it out, right?
Yeah, the whole thing. GetCargoCaddie.com.
Well, we definitely want to thank you for being our guest, and good luck to you, okay?
I appreciate your time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, we're going to have to step away. I'm the Cajun contractor Michael King, along with my sidekick, the Inventor Lady. You're listening to Home Talk USA radio program, streaming live on the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com. This is the Invent America special edition of Home Talk USA. We'll be right back.
Home Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
All right, welcome back to a special edition of Home Talk USA radio program. This is the Invent America segment of our show. We're going to do where we're talking to inventors all around the country. We're trying to reinvent America again. What we're trying to do, me and Rita, our co-hosts, my sidekick, we're just basically scouting the country for the new technologies of the future and to let America understand that, hey, we're the greatest country of all. And what we do is we invent, we develop, we think. We're a nation of a think tank, and no matter how they're trying to really destroy this country and dumb us down, and I don't want to play politics here. And maybe I need to do a new show and talk about politics because at the end of the day, enough's enough. And I can't sit here and watch my great country go in the toilet because China's stealing everything. That's right. You heard it right here. They're stealing it. And I guess the woke's going to come I guess, Rita, the woke is going to come pick at us tomorrow. What you think, huh?
Well, my advice to you would to stay with number one, which is Home Talk USA, and let all of the other guys talk the politics because there is enough of them out there.
There's enough of them out there. That's right.
Oh, holy cow! Yeah, you want indigestion? Just log into the politics. But we are problem solvers. We make America great again because we solve the problems. And even if it's a little product that now is better, that's what we do. We see it, we make it, we take it to market. Yep. And Brandon is our next guest, and he has got a really cool product, and you're going to love this. Brandon has not been on the show with us before. His product name is AR Parts Holding Template, and that in and of itself doesn't tell you a whole lot, but I'm going to let him tell us about the product. And Brandon, a little bit of an introduction for you is thank you so much for being with us today. And, he started out in the dental field helping people transition to, you're not going to believe the transition to this product that he invented. And he took it 1 week at a time and one step at a time, which is what we normally like to see. But he's sold over 400 units of his first product. He's in 52 stores. How cool is that? So, Brandon, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And tell us, what is AR Parts Holding Template?
Good afternoon, Rita and Mike. Can you hear me well?
Yep.
Perfect. So during the shutdown, a lot of my friends, neighbors, and coworkers and customers recruited me to help them with AR rifles because I am a competitive shooter on the weekends. And you couldn't actually, during the shutdown time, buy a whole rifle. You had to piece it together. And I wasn't happy with some of the mats that were on the market and some of the diagrams or YouTube videos that had 500,000 views, but really poor lighting, guys misidentifying parts. And so I actually made something myself out of cardboard for a rapid prototype and kept developing it. And now I have a wood template that holds every part for an AR-15 for you. And I walk you through step-by-step 1 through 31, how to complete it safely, and a live action and an animated video to walk you through a step-by-step guide. And now I set up at gun shows. I go to gun shops, military shops, pawn shops, and sell my product and trying to go coast to coast eventually.
Well, we would love to have you advertising on our show because I actually have an AR-15. And I'm not going to tell you where it's at, but I do have one. So that is something that I would need and appreciate. So when you were going through your steps, all right, how did you decide when you needed help that you couldn't do yourself? Because with your background and your experience, you were able to do a lot of it yourself, which another inventor might not be able to. But everybody's got to have a service provider at some point. How did you decide what and who?
Definitely. With my sales background, I was able to do the sales portion, but everything else with graphic design, with videography, with actually the machining part, I had to look for help. And so I met with engineers. I paid some people for blocks of time that I found out, because not everyone charges by the hour. Some people will actually sell you a block of their time in 5-hour or 10-hour increments, and you're able to use that sparingly for when you have questions. And so I had actually found someone that had a CO2 laser, and they made my first prototype out of foam. I actually paid $400 for a piece of foam, surprisingly. But it looked like what I wanted it to look like. It did what it was going to do, and I just kept refining it. And if you ever pick up one of my newest models, it's actually called the Mark 7 because it's gone through so many reiterations of what I originally thought versus what's on store shelves. And that's something I try to tell other people, that once you make it, it's not an end-all, be-all. It's going to make changes. It's going to develop. People are going to ask questions about it. People are going to try to do things with it that weren't intended for, pick it up, snap it in half, turn it around, and you've got to make it pretty foolproof, and it's got to be able to go through changes. So I had eventually kept contracting, like I said, a videographer. I made an animation. I did my own video editing. Or when I did a live action, I recruited marketing for like flyers and sell sheets because I knew what I wanted to do with like a features and benefit sheet, but I had to keep developing it. I had a website made and an e-commerce because I wanted to be able to sell my product, of course, and just every month found out something new I needed with shipping, with manufacturing, with plastic molds, and so I would keep seeking those people out. Luckily, I'm in a major city, so I had a lot of resources. I could go contact people and ask questions and just show up at their door. And, of course, some of them I'd get turned down because they wanted an increment of like 500 units just to work with me. And being a single-phase person, I'm looking at making these in batches of 50. There was no way I was going to buy 500 pieces or 5,000 pieces of plastic or pay to have a mold made. So I had to start learning what was already out there to use it and keep developing it, keep making it better, changing specs, and it's been a great experience, and I really like the operational side of what I've learned and what I can apply moving forward.
So, well, that's great. What lessons can you share with our listeners?
One lesson I would say is, even if you have a product, let's say you need packaging for it, there are packaging already out there for, say, comic book cases or makeup that you can use, and the mold's already done. I thought it would be really inexpensive to do like a thermofold mold of my product and just have it melted over, and that's not exactly what I found out with how much CNC machining you have to have of reverse molds and mother molds. So I learned a lot that you can use some things for packaging. Even if you have a new product, a new widget that you're making, don't get stuck on the packaging that has to be perfectly fit for you. Know that there's some packaging out there that you can put it in.
Brandon, I don't mean to cut you off, but the music's playing. So we will have your website listed on our site, but give everybody your website real quick.
Sure, it's under B Kollar, which is BKOLLAR.com, or if you just search in any search engine, AR Parts Holding Template, I'm the only one that pops up, AR Parts Holding Template.
Brandon, thank you so much for being with us, and we are off to pay some bills. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome back to Home Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Hey, welcome to a special edition of Home Talk USA, where we're talking to inventors all across America, along with my co-hosts, the Inventor Lady herself. We're having a great time. But, hey, check out our website at HomeTalkUSA.com. You can also check out our television show at HomeTalkTV.com. Well, pretty much anything you want to know about this show, the Invent America, it's sitting right there on our website at HomeTalkUSA.com. All right, Rita, man, I tell you, we're just rolling along, and I just love this segment of the show, the special edition, to talk to all of inventors. But our next guest is not an inventor, right? Oh, he is an inventor.
He is.
Yeah.
George Peters is my inventor go-to expert. He's the president of the New England Invents, and he's got multiple products in the marketplace. He's been to the White House with Kettle Pizza. So, no, George is a seasoned inventor and a good friend. And part of it is, we've spent so much time commiserating on hiring the right service providers over the years. Because, George, I've known you for, 15 years?
Well,
at least, Rita, at least that. And thank you for having me on. And, Michael, thank you.
No problem.
So at some point, every inventor, no matter how good they are, needs a service provider because nobody can do everything exactly right. So who and what do you think is the most important in the service provider arena, or how to choose one?
Certainly early on, Rita, I sought out legal advice very early in the process to see if I could get some insight on what I was about to go through. And that was my very first, before I even started to look up anything, I wanted to know what I was getting into. And I found an excellent intellectual property attorney in Concord, New Hampshire, Kevin Klugart, which gave me some excellent advice, good advice to not do it or do it, but he was very fair, didn't charge me anything. But I sought legal advice right at the beginning. That's what I thought was very important, and that's what I encourage other, let's say, future inventors should do. I thought that was most important.
Yeah, I know that you would laugh when there was an inventor talking to you, and he said, "Well, I'm doing my own patent," and you said, "Aha, yeah, you tell Rita that and see what kind of feedback you get on it." And it made me laugh when he told me, he goes, "Yeah, he said he'd say that." And I think being able to have inventors hook up with the inventor organizations. You've got New England Invents. We also do the Inventors Roundtable, so I want to invite all of you listeners out there to join us on the Inventors Roundtable, because the groups that are accessible to inventors, whether it's virtually like Inventors Roundtable or in person like New England Invents, those resources for inventors, it gives them certainly options, but it gives them then a chance to start learning the process so they don't make the killer mistakes.
Exactly right. I tell everybody, too, when an attorney goes into court and they need legal advice, you see them with their attorney. So that's why it always stuck with me that you never see an attorney representing themselves. So right. You shouldn't represent yourself to the patent process early on, or even mid if you were filing, for your utility patent. That's a big red flag, and it will cost you later on in the process if you don't have a legal advice going in.
George, I like what you said. An attorney that represents himself has a fool for an attorney, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And for as complicated as the process is, you need someone steadying to do that. And sometimes what happens is that in the middle of the process, you learn that maybe this isn't for you, and you haven't spent tens of thousands of dollars going down a path that you could have found out early on that it just may be something that's not for you.
Yeah. I want to encourage everyone to download the Inventor's Galaxy Guide, because that's on my website, Inventor Lady. It's free, but it goes through those steps so you understand where you can make choices on service providers.
All right, George, we definitely want to thank you for being our guest and for you coming on from time to time and giving us an update. And good luck to you. President of the Inventor New England, that's a real good organization. And thank you so much for supporting America, American products, and American invention. All right, buddy?
Michael, thank you. And Rita, thank you for having me on and what you're doing for the independent inventors of America. Really appreciate it.
All right, Rita.
Thanks, George.
All right, Rita. Wow, we got one more segment to go. We don't want our guests to go anywhere. We're going to have some breaking news coming up right off a break, and we're also going to talk about how you can feature your product on this show. I'm the Cajun Man, along with my sidekick, the Inventor Lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton. This is Home Talk USA, a special edition of Home Talk USA radio program, streaming live on the World Wide Web at the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com. HomeTalkUSA.com. I'll be right back. Yay! All right, Mr. George.
Welcome back to Home Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com, one of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Hey, Rita, I tell you what, we've had a great time and talking to all these great inventors, but let's put some information out there. How can we get new inventors on the show, and what's the process of, because, we don't charge anybody. How can they get on?
That's right. All they've got to do is go to inventorlady.com. The button right there is to click. It says, do you want to be on the show? You fill out the form, send it back. We actually got a couple of those in last week. So we're going to start reaching out now to the folks who have sent in the form. And, when I look at the form and I feel like they're going to match a topic that we've picked, that's exactly what we're trying to do is make sure that all of America is represented. So, and all of the inventors out there in America can join us, in Canada too, at the Inventor Roundtable meetings. They're free, and that's where then you can ask questions. Inventors Roundtable.
What's your website?
InventorsRoundtable.org. Mine is inventorlady.com, and all of the information is there.
All right, that about does it for another edition of Home Talk USA, and we want to thank you for listening to this special edition, Invent America. I'm the Cajun Man along with my sidekick, Rita Crompton. See you next week. Yay!
Home Talk USA with Michael King is produced by Home Talk Media in association with King's Broadcasting Network and Genesis Communications Network. Broadcast and streamed live from the great state of Louisiana. Host and producer, the Cajun contractor, Michael King. Executive producer, Michael Mellinson. Affiliate and sponsor relations, Joe Spera. Comptroller, Sheila Gregoire. Assistant producer, Christian Bethencourt. Board operators provided by Genesis Communications Network. And I'm your announcer, Kevin McCarthy. Music includes King's Creole by Prolific Arts, Cajun Jam by StockMusic.com, and Zydeco City by Steve Rice. Home Talk USA with Michael King is sponsored by Bonide, pest solutions for your home, garden, and lawn. Decorators, take outdoor living beyond ordinary. Aztec Washer, innovative roofing solutions. Seal it right, seal it tight. Trimislab, replace rotten or missing wood with Trimislab expansion joint repair. Masonry Cosmetics, change the color of any porous masonry with proven masonry staining. Green Products Company, #1 in wood preservatives. Preserve, protect, and clean what you value, and most of all, make it last. Bond Products, manufacturers of InstaBind, the world's first do-it-yourself carpet binding solution. Deck Right, life is tough. Make your exterior flooring tougher. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Home Talk USA with Michael King. Until next time, visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com.
Yay!